Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we have another weird car in the shop that's not mine. This is Brett's. And we've got a Grand Sport, an SS, my SS, a Lexus. And today we'll be working on Brett's car again. We'll be installing this new grill. This is a C7 Z06 grill that we'll be putting on his 2014 Z51. We've gotten the top hardware off. This is all T30. I think there's 4 or 5 of those bolts. We got all those out. This is T30. Got some push pin clips here right by the hood bracket. There's one on the passenger side as well. And then right here, there's a black plastic shield that you got to pull off. That is actually these. And I simply just pulled them kind of back toward the engine and out, like toward the center of the car, and they slid out. So we got the passenger and the driver's side off. We kind of have the fenders popped off a little bit. There's a T15, there's 3 T15 bolts in this fender liner. So 1, 2, 3, it'll be the same on the passenger side. We got the clip disconnected from the fender. And underneath here, you guys will see we do have one of the trays down. Actually 4 or 5 10mm bolts in the back. We took those off. And then on the front here, there were some 7mm bolts. We pulled those out. And so Brett's got an aftermarket splitter here. So this will be a little different than your OEM application. But you're basically just trying to get all of the hardware disconnected from the bumper cover to the black plastic trim that's under here. So there's, like I said, 7mm, 10mm, and some screws that were on the splitter. So now that we've got that, we've got this bottom tray off. We got to get the rest of the bumper cover disconnected from all this plastic hardware, like I was saying. And I believe there's gonna be some 7mm up here. We'll take that out, and there's probably be some on the side as well. Disconnect that, and the bumper cover should slide off soon. All right, guys, we got all of the hardware, just a bunch of 7mm screws here, all along the bottom there. All these Phillips head screws, that's for the splitter, but I think we're fully disconnected. Oh yeah, you can see that. You see how the whole bumper is shaking? We should be able to pull that right off. So. All right, guys, we got the front bumper off. The C7 mounting is a little different than a C6. There's these brackets right here that the videos we saw online don't really show what you really need to do. They kind of jumped over the step. So kind of the secret is you need to get a set of these plastic trim removal tools. I'll include a link down below. Buy the headlight, put it one here, and put one where the last bolt is on the frame, and then you're able to get your hand up under that bumper cover, pull up and pull up here, it comes right off. So we were able to get Brett's bumper off without issue. So now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and get that bumper torn apart, take all the clips off, and swap the grill. All right, guys, you saw us take the bumper off, and now we have the actual C7 bumper without the grill on it. The grill is out over here. And pretty simple to pop out. There's these tabs right here. You just got to start at one end and then, eventually work your way down. Now, the one thing we struggled, there's actually a lip here. And so what happened was this lip got stuck in front of the grill. So I was not able to get the back side of the grill out from underneath this lip. I had to pull down on this and then pull the grill out. And that finally let the whole thing go, and we were able to get all of these tabs pushed out. And all we used for those tabs were the this plastic trim tool. Just push up or push down depending on which direction you're working on, and you'll get that grill out. Now there is some extra hardware that comes with the grill, and we thought this had to be installed, but Brett's car does not have the front mount cameras. These are the mounting brackets for those front mount cameras. So if your car is a 2014 or 2015, something like that, you don't need to use these brackets. So I don't think you use this bracket, you don't use these filler panels, and basically this bag of hardware we're not going to use. We're going to use the OEM stuff because we've watched other YouTube videos and they basically said that the OEM hardware was a little bit better. So we'll get these tabs pushed onto the new grill, and we'll get the new grill pushed into the bumper. All right, so how we talked about the OEM hardware, if you guys have the grill, so this is going to be the bottom of the grill. We're obviously looking at it, you know, from the back of the bumper, but you know, that's where the hole is for the brake vent. You want to put the hardware on kind of upside down, because you see these 4 or 5 holes on the bottom. That is actually going to screw into the tray that's underneath the car. So you know, the video we watched didn't really specify. You basically want to put that hardware so your screw can go into it from the bottom of the car. And then you will see this hardware here. We're going to put our 7mm screws on there. That'll screw in there. And like I said, we'll push the tabs in, and this grill should be ready to put back in the bumper, then the bumper back on the car. All right, guys, we got the grill back installed. All the hardware's put in place. So these 2 7mm screws here on the bottom. We transferred the hardware kind of like we showed from the old grill to the new grill. We didn't put that camera bracket in because, like I said, this car doesn't have that. And really the last piece you got to be concerned about are these 2 wedge-shaped metal pieces. So here and here. Once you put those in, they really do tighten everything else up. So this grill is 100% done and ready to be put back on the car. We did get Brett's bumper back on. These C7 bumpers are finicky. So is the C6. It's like if you don't have the gap just right here, it's gonna be a little off over here. If you have the gap good here, the headlight might be tight. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. We've probably had this thing off 10, 15 times. It's popped off, and we finally got it. So I think a happy medium. Yeah. It's not perfect, but the other thing is, guys, we had tape over all these edges when we took the bumper off. So I don't know how it looked like the gaps before we popped the bumper off. So I think it's as good as we're going to get it. And the one thing I wanted to help you guys out with, there are some slots underneath the headlight, and there are these triangle shaped pieces. They look like shark fins that coming out of the bumper cover itself. You need to get those triangular shark fins into that slot. There's 2. There's one here, there's one here. Same on the driver's side. And once we got those lined in, this went together a lot quicker. Wouldn't you agree with that? Okay, yeah. So once we got those shark fin pieces in, everything went together a lot better. And actually right here, this gap right here was real horrible on the very edge of the fender. Like, that was down like 1/8 of an inch. Yeah. We've gotten that a lot better than it was. So getting those guide pins in, if that's what you want to call it, those shark fins, I think that really helped out with the overall alignment. Now it's just, we got to get all the screws. So there's the T30s on the top, there's T15s on the side, and then I believe it was 7mm on the bottom. So like we've got like 30 bolts we need to put in this thing. I think we'll wrap this thing up. So we'll pick this up when we're done. All right, guys, we do have the Z06 grill finally fully installed. And as you guys can see, Brett does have direct access to the brake vent now. So that'll go right into the brake vent and go through the tubing and come out on the backside and cool down his Z51 brakes. And I will say this, it does look pretty badass. So as for hardware, kind of like we said earlier, I wasn't going to film putting bolts in, but it's 10mm and 7mm on the bottom. T15 here in the corner, there's 3. And then there is T30 up top, and then there's 2 plastic push pins on the top of the bumper. So yeah, so we've been out here for about 4 hours, and like I said, we've probably been goofing around. We didn't do anything for the first hour, so this didn't take too long. Just kind of like I said earlier about aligning the bumper, make sure you get those slots and the shark fins lined up. Once you get that all together, everything looks pretty good. So would I say it's easier than a C6 Corvette? Just as hard. They both have like hidden hardware and stuff, but same concept. Bolts on the side, bolts on the top, bolts on the bottom, pull the bumper off. So, but yeah, this thing looks pretty awesome. Let's go get this out, pushed out into the sunlight, and we'll show you in the daytime. Alright guys, you can see that Brett's car is fully finished. We have the grill installed, and not too bad of a project, but man, it does look really good with the brake van openings on both sides, and they go right into the OEM 2014 C51 brake fence. So that'll work on a C7 C51 and a C7 Z06. So it's pretty cool that they share technology, and they developed this whole grill package before the Z06 even came out. So alright guys, so that's gonna be it for the Z06 grill install on Brett's car. He just left, and he was pretty happy with that install. Like I said, nothing too worried about that. Just kind of getting the bumper aligned back up. That did take a little bit of time. We did struggle with that a little bit. And then the other part we ran into a problem was that lip that we showed you inside the bumper itself. I had to move that up out of the way to pull the OEM grill out. So you guys might want to be on the lookout for those two issues, and those are really the only two issues we had. And once we got the grill out, we got the new grill in, we put it back on the car. You know, that didn't take all too terribly long. Like I said, we're out here for like 4 hours, and that's with like horsing around, talking, not really doing much work. So probably get that done in a couple hours. I don't think that grill was that expensive. I'll have to look up the price. I'll include that down below. But yeah, so pretty good modification. Looks awesome, and it looks way better than the OEM grill. Now his was modified a little bit. He did have a chrome delete on that front grill. I know all the Stingrays did have a piece of chrome on that, but he covered his up with something, and it looked better, but this Z06 grill looks way better. So yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more Corvette SS, other Corvette content, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications. If you guys want to help support the channel, I'll drop you some links down below to the Z06 grill. I think we'll be able to find that. That was from EOS Online. And also don't forget to check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. We do have Duramax, SS, Corvette merchandise out there. Check all that down below. And yeah, thanks guys. Have a great one.